Tonight on Sports Desk, our Inside Pitch crew gives us the preview of the Georgia Tech Miami series, plus the number retirement of our Hurricanes baseball icon.
That's right, in Category 5 talks with new football head coach Manny Diaz at the Rat about what's in store for the upcoming season.
And one Hurricanes athlete is giving back to the community that raised him.
All that and more, Sports Desk starts right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching Sports Desk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UM guy. You're watching Sports Desk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching Sports Desk.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Brendan Riley.
And I'm Erica Orstad. Brendan, basketball season is winding down. Women are in postseason play, and the men actually have a game going on right now.
That's right, Erica. The Canes and Hokies have just tipped off in Blacksburg, and the women's team, well, they had a rough morning in Greensboro, getting upset by Syracuse in the ACC tournament quarterfinals. Here's what Coach Meyer had to say after the game.
So I'm disappointed in my team's response there and lack of possession awareness. But hopefully we'll live to play another day and take that lesson and learn from it.
For sure, a disappointing loss, and our Hurricane Hang Time crew is here to break it all down. Guys.
Welcome back to Hurricane Hang Time. I'm your host, Cameron Dobbs, here with Eli Griswold and Tommy Sullivan. The Canes women's basketball team kicked off their ACC tournament this morning with a tough loss to Syracuse. Eli, what went wrong for the Canes?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, a really tough start to postseason play for the Hurricanes, crashing out of the ACC tournament in the first round with a loss to Syracuse. In the first half, they really struggled to contain the Syracuse offense. Syracuse shot 50% from the three-point line in the first half, got out to a 50-37 lead at halftime on a 20-7 run. So just a really strong performance in the first half from that Syracuse offense. And Miami, a team that's really prided themselves to be one of the best defensive teams in the ACC, really struggled in that first half. The second half, they kind of got back to their identity a little bit. They looked to Beatrice Montpremier and Amasa Hoff a lot more. Hoff with 25 points, Montpremier with 27. But they just dug themselves into way too big of a hole in that first half to be able to come out.
And how will this affect postseason play for Miami?
Yeah, going into the NCAA tournament, they should have a pretty strong seed in that tournament. The first few rounds should be pretty easy for them. But as you get into the later rounds and play starts to get a lot more competitive, starts to heat up a lot more, you need to focus on what's made you such a good team all season long. So they need to look into the post, and once they start looking into the post, the Hoff and Montpremier, they can kind of work their offense around them.
And Tommy, the Canes men's basketball team is also trying to end their season on a high note, beating Pittsburgh on their senior night this week. Tommy, what players contributed to this win?
Well, to be honest, at the senior night the other night, it was all the seniors that took control of the game. And that started with Anthony Lawrence II. He had 27 points for the Canes, a career high for him. Great way to finish his Canes career at home. And also next you're going to have to look at Ibuka Izundu, a double-double for him with 14 points and 14 rebounds. His mother flew all the way in from Nigeria to come watch her son's final game at home for the Canes. And finally, Zach Johnson. He had 12 points for the Canes. Great way for him to throw in some final points and have a great mark on the one season that he was able to play for the Canes.
And the Canes are facing Virginia Tech right now, who they already lost to this season.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough matchup for the Canes, especially because the Canes have a really tough time on the road, especially this season. Also, you're going to have to look, Virginia Tech has two very good players. When you're looking at Nikhil Alexander-Walker, the Canes are going to have to try and stop him, as well as Kevin Blackshear Jr. He's very good for the Virginia Tech Hokies as well.
And that's all the time we have for Hurricane Hang Time. Back to you at the desk.
The men's game is just tipping off right now. Miami is out to an early lead, but coming back to the women's team, Amasa Hoff was a bright spot for the Hurricanes with 25 points today.
Yeah, 25 points today, and she was also named the ACC's most improved player.
With these honors coming in, I got to talk to Amasa about her career here at Miami.
Senior Amasa Hoff has taken off during her senior year, gaining national attention from places all around the country. With her teammate and longtime friend Laura Cornelius, she knew this was becoming all along.
Not surprising to me because I know her game and I always believed in her. I think she's special. I believe she's one of the best post players in the country.
Head coach Katie Meyer first saw Hoff when she was 16 in the World Championships, and she knew she was someone Miami had to have.
Sitting with the Dutch coaches and saying, yeah, I really love that kid. And they said, well, she was a bit injured. You know, she's really a lot better than she played. And so that was great. So we just heated it up, started recruiting her. But she was just, the IQ at the age of 16, it was amazing.
Hoff has dealt with injuries her whole career, but she knew it was something that she just had to fight through.
I've gone through some adversities with like ankle injuries, so I think that in the end, like, it does really like make you stronger. And like,
she dealt with some injuries that weren't able to heal, so she just had to accept the inhibition or accept, you know, the pain, and that's courageous. That's beyond an injury.
While Hoff is finally getting the attention she deserves, to Cornelius and Meyer, her impact off the court is what her final mark at Miami will be.
She knows me very well. She knew that I'm not a person that, you know, speaks about her feelings. We're just this close that by the look on each other's face, we can just tell, like, hey, what's going on, you know? So every now and then when I was really down, like, she would come up to me, talk to me, like, even hug me, or like just whatever I needed. And that's just, you know, that's what our friendship is about.
I think that the community's loved her from day one. You know, I remember the double Dutch night and how happy they were. Her smile is infectious. So she's just brought a great amount of warmth to the program, a great amount of inviting, you know, welcoming people. I'm going to struggle. I'm really going to miss her. I'm really going to struggle. She's a bright light. Yeah, she's been great.
Brendan Riley, Manny Diaz's staff is official, and now his coaching debut is coming a week early. Miami and Florida announcing yesterday the season opener will kick off on August 24th. In a statement made by Blake James, he said, quote, ESPN approached both UM and Florida with the unique idea to broadcast this matchup as the culmination of a day-long celebration of college football's 150th anniversary season. After consulting with Manny, we agreed that this would be a tremendous opportunity to showcase Hurricanes football, both our present team and our long storied tradition, on a national stage, end quote. The game is set to kick off at 7 p.m. in Orlando. Well, if you already made travel plans, Erica, move them up a week.
Yeah, that's right, Brendan. We'll have to wait a bit until we see him on the sideline, but Coach Diaz was actually at the Rathskeller last night. Sitting down with Spirit Programming Board Category 5, Diaz talked about growing up in Miami, plans for the program, and even the possibility of a new turnover chain. Cat 5 Chair Val Velasco was happy that coaches are now speaking to students in their element.
We had about a week or so to plan it, so that was a little nerve-wracking, but at the end of the day, we're so happy we got to do this. So this was really exciting, not just for myself to get to be able to do this, but for Category 5 going into the future. I hope it inspires other coaches to want to come out and get to know our students.
Category 5 is already planning out future events with Hurricanes football, including a student trip to watch the Canes take on FSU in Tallahassee next season.
Well, I don't know about you, Erica, but I'm getting really excited for next season.
Yeah, I am too, and I know the football players are hyped as well. But in the offseason, one Hurricane running back is spending his weekends off the field by lending a hand.
UMTV reporter Sharon Dankwa tells us how he's working with other UM athletes to help Miami's homeless.
University of Miami running back Robert Burns sees the importance of giving back to the community.
Yeah, for me, it's a really good feeling. I know what it's like to be in need, to be on the opposite end of that. And so in a way, it's just, I feel like it's my duty to give back, you know?
Giving back is so important to Robert that he spends his weekends alongside other University of Miami athletes volunteering to give food to the homeless.
It was a really cool experience. I really enjoy stuff like that just because I feel like it's so important to give back to the community, and having the platform as student athlete is really important.
Working through Second Spoon, a nonprofit food truck, Robert and other athletes hand out hundreds of meals to the homeless people of Overtown every other weekend. And all of this started after one phone call.
A great friend of mine, Mo Hassan, went to the same high school with each other. He reaches out to me, he gives me a call. He's like, bro, I got something that, you know, it's an idea, it's kind of raw, but I need your help. And I didn't even know what it was, but when your best friend says, hey, like, I need your help, you say, all right, sure.
After hearing more about what Robert was doing, athletics reached out and they decided to partner up with Robert to get more athletes involved.
Robert Burns, I've known him for a while. He's been very involved, and he came to me a couple summers ago and was like, Sarah, this is what I'm doing. Is there any other way we could get other students to help us? I was like, yes, of course.
Not many people expect such an effort to come from a busy college athlete, but the people who know Robert were not surprised.
Robert is a brilliant young man. In the weight room and football, he works so hard, And it's so cool to see him involved in so many different initiatives. And what he's doing with Second Spoon is just amazing.
When we go out there, from the people, they seem very, receptive of it. They're thankful. The gratitude is definitely there. And I just wish that we can do more.
Second Spoon will be making their next trip to Overtown on Friday, March 15th. Reporting from UMTV, I'm Sharon Dankwa.
And coming up, a Hurricanes legend earned his spot among Miami's greatest. We'll check in with the retirement ceremony for longtime head baseball coach Jim Morris right after this.
Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap us next Sunday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Heading to Birmingham, Alabama, where Miami Track and Field is currently making a mark in the NCAA Track and Field Indoor Championships. The Canes already have a gold medal under their belt, with Michelle Atherley winning the pentathlon.
And swinging it over to Marklight Field, Hurricanes baseball is adding another number to the outfield. Former head coach Jim Morris, notably referred to as 3, is having his iconic number retired. Morris was a longtime coach for Georgia Tech and Miami and brought UM 2 national championships as well as 23 playoff appearances. This is the 12th number retired by Canes baseball. And Jim Morris sure was a legend here at Miami, Brendan. It's fitting that his number will be 2.
Yeah, Erica, but current manager Gino DiMaria is off to a hot start in the post-Jim Morris era. They had a midweek matchup with Appalachian State at the Light. Canes and Mountaineers squaring off in a Wednesday matchup. Slade Ciccone making his 3rd start for Miami, and, well, he was dominant all night. The big right-hander struck out Luke Drummeller with a 2-seamer here to get things going in the first. That was 1-2 in the first. Moving to the top of the first. First pitch to Jordan Lala. He drives that one out to right field. The right fielder going back, but he's not going to be able to get there because it's gone. Lala sends that one to La La Land. His first career home run as a Miami Hurricane gives the Hurricanes the 1-0 lead over App State. Moving to the top of the 4th. Later on, Slade Ciccone still on the bump. He strikes out Dalton Williams with a nasty 2-seamer right there on the outside corner. That was his 5th strikeout of the night, one of his 8. Staying in the bottom of the 4th now, Lala again rips one into right field for a base hit. This one's going to bring in Raymond Gill as he rounds 3rd. He'll score to put the Canes up 3-0. Then Ciccone in a jam in the top of the 6th. Strikes him out looking with the slider. Ciccone's fired up after that one. Escapes the bases loaded jam. He had 8 strikeouts on the night, and Miami would improve to 10-2 on the season. They have their ACC opener against Georgia Tech this weekend, and our Inside Pitch crew is here to break it all down. Guys?
Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Charlotte Payne, joined here again with analyst Max Trank. Canes fans asked for a sweep, and the guys delivered last weekend against UMBC. Now, Max, after that series, what do you think has been the team's foundation?
Well, when it comes down to this entire year, even from the Rutgers game, now going into UMBC, it's been starting pitching. This staff has done everything that the Canes have needed them to do, especially Brian Van Bellen. Let's talk a little bit about him, because he had a huge series against UMBC. The JUCO transfer from Broward College, the right-hander for this team, just came up big, out of nowhere for this team. Gino DiMaria said it at the beginning of the year that he would be the Friday starter if he was here for a longer time, and he's proven it. 9 strikeouts, a career high for him, and Van Bellen doesn't have that eye-popping, fastball for the team, but he's able to execute his pitches and has great command, and that's the reason why he's had a lot of success on the year.
Now, Max, Georgia Tech is in Coral Gables tonight. Who should Canes fans be on the lookout for going into that series?
Well, there's 2 guys that are going to be big players tonight and throughout the entire series. First guy, of course, is Xavier Curry. Curry has been just one of the best starters for this team in the entire conference. Yes, he hasn't been in ACC play yet, going up against one of the best starters as well in Evan McKendry tonight, but he has that lively fastball, he has a sub-2 ERA, and he has just been dominant for the Yellow Jackets. Then you move over to behind the dish, and that's Kyle McCann's spot. Georgia Tech has been a school that's produced several catchers that have made it big to the big time when it comes to Joey Bart from last year, second overall pick in the MLB draft, Jason Varitek, Matt Wieters. So Kyle McCann looks to be the next step, filling in a big hole that Joey Bart was last year, leads the ACC in home runs and RBIs. So definitely one of the bigger players for this team, and the Canes need to lock him down.
Now, Max, you predicted it right last weekend against UMBC. Tell me, what are going to be the deciding factors going into this weekend?
Well, it's going to be locking down those two guys and keeping up with freshman play. Jordan Lala did hit his first career home run on Wednesday for the Hurricanes, and the freshmen have just been out there and killing it for this team. Adrian Del Castillo, Anthony Villar, all those guys have been very important factors when it comes down to it. But Georgia Tech does have a lot of hitting. They do have a good pitching staff, and they did beat UCLA in a game earlier this year. They did lose that series, but beating UCLA, a top school in the country, is nothing to shake your head at. For sure, Georgia Tech is one of those competitive teams. And I'm going to say that the Hurricanes are going to take the series 2-1. Yes, Georgia Tech is still one of the top programs in the country. But when it comes down to it, the Hurricanes do have that starting staff, and they do have that hitting that can match up against them.
Well, Max, I guess we're going to see how it all goes down tonight. But that is all the time we have for Inside Pitch. Back to you guys.
Thanks, guys. The baseball team starts their series with Georgia Tech tonight at 7:30.
But don't go anywhere, because up next, we'll tell you which Miami tennis star is making national headlines.
Before that, though, it's trivia time. There are over 50 Miami Hurricanes alumni in the NFL, but which team has the most former Canes on their active roster? Is it A, the Los Angeles Chargers, B, the Miami Dolphins, C, the Cleveland Browns, or D, the Buffalo Bills? We'll find out right after this.
Guys, what's your favorite milkshake at the light?
Definitely J-Row.
J-Row?
J-Row, I think mine has to be the Wizard.
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
All the way.
If you guessed C, you are correct. Former Miami defensive end Olivier Vernon was traded to Cleveland from the New York Giants earlier today. That gives the Browns 5 Hurricanes on their active roster. The LA Chargers are second with 4 former Canes.
With March Madness approaching, there's a big question looming around college basketball's biggest player. Will Zion Williamson lace it up for the tournament? Our head-to-head crew is here to discuss if Zion will play and who might go all the way on this week's head-to-head.
Welcome to Head to Head, where we get heated about the hottest topics in the world of sports. I'm Justin Heyer here with Skylar Sands, and today we're talking March Madness. Skylar, the topic on everyone's mind, Zion Williamson. Let's get right down to it. Should he play?
All right, so everyone's talking about Zion like he's going to be the next MJ or LeBron. And if this is the case, he should be done playing college basketball. Again, there should be no reason for him to even have to play college basketball in the first place. He's proven that he's going to be the #1 pick, and now he should just be done.
Come on, you're ignoring such a crucial point here. College basketball in general, is a team sport. And what he's telling Duke fans, his teammates right now, is that he's more important than the team. It's about loyalty. It's about being there for your team, for your fans,
it's the
and he's
rules of the
ignoring
NCAA. It's the rules of the NCAA, and it's the rules of the NBA. Again, what can he do to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time?
But that's not the point right now. The point is that this school gave him a scholarship to win tournaments, to win championships, and he's just blowing that off.
All right, well, let's move on to our next question. So it's been pretty clear that Duke is going to be the team to beat in the tournament this year. In the finals, who are they going to be up against?
Oh, for me, it's not the fancy pick, but it's Tennessee. And the reason I'm saying that is because this team has experience, and that's what matters in March. You've got guys like Admiral Schofield and the Jordan brothers, Bone and Bowden. These guys know how to handle the bright spotlight. They know how to handle the pressure.
It's a great team, but again, you have to look at the depth of their schedule. They've lost to only 2 teams that have been competitive, LSU and Kentucky, and the rest of their schedule has been kind of easy. For me, it's Virginia. I think DeAndre Hunter is a natural leader, and again, guards win championships. He's a lottery pick and a 3-and-D stud.
Have you seen this team try to defend beyond the arc? They just can't, and right now, that's how teams are scoring. That's how teams are making offense happen, and they can't stop the 3. That's going to matter when this tournament gets close.
All right, well, unfortunately, that's our time for today. Back to you guys.
And on the courts, junior tennis star Estela Perez Samariba is now 2nd in the nation according to ITA rankings. This is the first time a Cane has been ranked number 2 in over a decade. Samariba has been in the top 5 and top 3 several times in her career. The Madrid native is in the midst of an 11-match win streak and will compete against Notre Dame at the Schiff Tennis Center after spring break.
The MLB season is approaching, and the Miami Marlins are projected for yet another last-place finish. On This Week, Simon Says, UMTV reporter Simon Lair is here to break down how the Marlins ended up in this mess and how it all could have been avoided.
Picture this. It's October 1997, and Miami is going nuts. The Florida Marlins are World Series champions. All right, flash forward a year. It's 1998, and the Marlins have just finished with the worst record in baseball. They traded away all their notable players before the season had even started, saying to fans, "We did our part. Now it's time to save some money." And in doing so, they became the first team in MLB history to finish dead last in the league the year after winning a championship. The Marlins did it again in 2003, second World Series title, complete fire sale after the season, and then right back down to the cellar. That blueprint might have worked back then. It ain't working now. It's been over a year since Derek Jeter took over as Miami Marlins CEO, and here's his track record so far. Team dropped from 2nd place to last in the division, traded away the guy who had broke the Marlins' home run record and won MVP, traded away the guy who had won the next MVP award, shipped off a 3rd All-Star outfielder, and this offseason traded the best catcher in baseball to a division rival. All for some prospects? In a press conference before spring training, Jeter validated these moves by saying this, quote, "There's a complicated history with this fan base. I get it. We're taking over an organization that hasn't had much success over the last 15 to 16 years. So in order to change that, you have to make some unpopular decisions," end quote. Well, no, I disagree with that. In order to reach this new fan base, you should make as many popular decisions as you can at all costs. Changing the logo and colors is cool and all, but it doesn't distract anybody from the fact that this latest fire sale actually cost Miami a chance at the playoffs. For the first time in 15 years, the Marlins were pretty close to contention. And over the past 2 years, Derek Jeter's traded away players whose value added up to nearly 25 wins above replacement. 2 MVPs, faces of the franchise who would legitimately get people to the ballpark, if not as many as they'd hope. Now nobody comes. Nobody's excited. The Marlins are at the bottom of the mountain looking all the way up, and there's no end in sight. That's what Simon Says.
Still to come, we take a look into an important charitable cause organized by the Miami Dolphins with support of several notable hurricanes. We'll check it out right after this.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Even though spring break is here, Hurricanes athletics are still in action. On Sunday, Miami men's tennis travels north to Orlando in a match against rival Florida State. Hurricanes golf looks to chomp the competition at the SunTrust Gator Invitational in Gainesville on Saturday and Sunday. Track and Field races their way to Birmingham, Alabama to compete in the NCAA Track and Field Indoor Championship today and Saturday. Lastly, on the road, Miami men's basketball is currently taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies. The Canes trail 22-18 with 9 minutes to go in the first half. Then heading back to Coral Gables, Canes baseball faces Georgia Tech in a 3-game set tonight, Saturday and Sunday. The Miami Dolphins, they're in the air, they're on the ground, and on bicycles in less than a month for charity. They're teaming up with the University of Miami to beat something big that seems to affect everyone. I had the chance to learn more. Take a look.
The smell of chopped fruit and popcorn draws people to the UM Farmers Market every Wednesday. But this time, it's a green tent bringing people in. Now, freshmen Juliana and Kate are signing up for the challenge.
I think I was nervous about it because I'm not really athletic, so I was like, I don't really want to run or cycle.
But this challenge is more than a race, and the cause hits close to home.
I also saw something that said, like, fight against cancer, and cancer's affected my family greatly.
It's the Dolphins' Cancer Challenge, an event in its 9th year where people run, walk, and cycle, all to raise money for cancer research at Sylvester. Stephen Neimer is the research center's director. He's cycled in the event every year since he moved to Miami.
Every year I ride between 100 and 170 miles.
That's almost the same distance from Miami to the Bahamas.
While I'm riding, I think of all the cancer patients that I've taken care of and what they have to go through to be cured of cancer. And you just get on the bike, and as long as you keep moving your legs, you reach the finish line.
Crossing that finish line means even more to the cancer patients who are fighting that battle every day. Chris Allen, an organizer of the DCC.
It's also a great outlet for families and for patients to come out. They're riding or walking next to their doctor, their nurses, and I think it's nice for people to know that they're not in this alone.
And Chris says it's not a race, so don't worry if you can't commit to 100 miles on the bike.
You can walk it. There's also a 1-mile option, so after a mile, if you're tired, you can turn around and go back and head back to the stadium for food. It's a great atmosphere. Everyone helps everyone along the way.
Helping each other, celebrating life, and fighting cancer. This green tent is taking people along for the ride.
And some familiar faces involved in the DCC coaches Katie Meyer and Gino DeMare. His life affected by cancer when his father was diagnosed. DeMare says his dad has lived a longer life because of the care and research at Sylvester, a lot of that made possible by the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. For more information on the DCC and how to sign up for the event in April, go to dolphinscancerchallenge.com.
It's time for Play of the Day, and we take the ride up to Gainesville, where Florida and LSU are squaring off. And Marlon Taylor, well, that boy got hops. Draymond Waters at the top of the key, lobs one up, looking for Marlon Taylor, and Noah Locke, watch out, because, oh no, Marlon Taylor's coming for your head. He throws it down over Locke, and picture perfect play right there. The lob from Waiters at the top of the key, throwing it up for Marlon, and he throws it down over him, and Locke's not going to want that one on his highlight reel, because look at that, the elevation right there. He's at least a foot over the rim and throws it down with authority. I mean, Taylor would finish the night, and then as LSU would go on to sneak by the Gators in overtime, 79-78. And that is your Play of the Day.
And finally tonight, we take you up to Cocoa High School, where an offensive lineman has an impressive moment on the court. And yes, I said court. Here he is. It's Richie Leonard IV, a University of Kentucky football commit. A little change of scenery here on the basketball court. Lobs it at the wall. He catches it and throws it down like he's a professional globetrotter. Holy lineman, this guy is 6'3" and weighs 315 pounds and recently got himself an offer from UM. He'd look good in orange and green.
Well, Erica, I don't think I've ever seen a football lineman dunk it like that.
Yeah, I'd never seen that either. But I saw you shooting hoops the other day. Maybe you could learn a little something from him.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to dunk in my lifetime, but I can shoot the 3-ball pretty well.
Well, I can't do either of those things, so maybe I'll practice a little over spring break. What are your plans?
Well, I'm actually heading down to the Dominican Republic, so I'll be chilling down there.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, we won't be back until March 22nd, but appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, guys.